Welcome to the Flourish with Neural Retraining podcast. I'm your host, Madeline Lowry, founder of Twin Cities Neural Retraining and a certified MAP method practitioner specializing in allergies and sensitivities, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, sleep issues, infertility, and other chronic health conditions. Join me for episode 50, where we talk again with Jelena Katić Ujević, a top MAP method coach and instructor from Croatia. Hear about the amazing results she has seen in When the Body Says Yes program participants with chronic conditions of all kinds. Hear about a few of the incredible successes from people in the program, some of whom who had never done a MAP method session before. Listen until the end to learn about the program's structure and options, and how you can learn more about the body program for yourself. And check out the show notes for links to the official website, Facebook group, and a special coupon for Flourish listeners. As always, we must disclaim that the information we share in the podcast is for educational purposes only. As MAP method practitioners, we do not diagnose or treat disease. Instead, we work with the person and the personality to optimize health. Now, let's hear from Jelena.
Jelena, I'm excited to have you join me on my podcast again. It was such a treat having you join me. Over a year ago, we had a conversation about your current work and your program for chronic illness. And I'm so happy to welcome you back again so that we can talk about all that you have seen in the last year around your program and the wonderful results it's had. Welcome, Jelena.
Thank you so much, Madeline, for having me again. And like I said, it has been a year since we did our first podcast, and I couldn't expect so many miracles and changes and beautiful results with all those people. So I'm super excited to share some of their stories and hopefully give them some hope and encouragement to keep going. So thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah. So, just to orient people who haven't heard our first conversation, would you tell us a little bit about yourself and your work with the MAP Coaching Institute?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Jelena Katić Ujević, originally from Croatia. I've been teaching at the MAP Coaching Institute for the last 3 years, and I actually found out about MAP 4 years ago when I was in a really bad period in my life. I had a car accident that literally disabled me, and in my 20s, instead of creating life and enjoying everything that a young person in 20s enjoys, I was actually crippled and in bed, and doctors didn't give me a lot of chances to have a normal, healthy life. And as the universe always works in mysterious ways, I found out about MAP. I met Colette. I had one session with her, and it was, I still don't have words to explain it. It was like someone literally opened the curtains in front of me. It was really amazing, beautiful, really powerful. And I really had that experience that for the first time in my life, someone opened my heart. And then after that, I continued with Colette with one of her programs. It really helped me to heal a lot, not only physically, emotionally first. And that was the first step. And then afterwards, I signed up for the certification program. That went really well. I was the first certified practitioner from England actually to Asia. When I was certified, I was so proud of that. And baby steps, I started to create a lot of different stuff with the institute, started to teach, created supervised practices, created group sessions. Now we have the coaching program. I have a feeling that I had my fingers in everything that the Institute did so far. And I'm really proud and happy to be part of that story.
Yeah, so maybe you can just say a little bit about what the MAP method is for people who have never heard of this before.
Yes, when I was first introduced, to MAP, I was a little bit scared, to be honest, because the MAP method is actually it's helping to rewire your brain. And when someone tells you something like that, I was really skeptical. Like, what is it that you're actually going to do with my mind? I don't want you to play with it, because you hear a lot of stuff. So basically, the MAP method is based on the latest science of neuroscience. It's actually using a window of reconsolidation, if you want to go to that scientific aspect. But what MAP is actually doing with your superconscious, we're teaching your brain, because your brain has its own ability to heal itself. And when I say heal itself, we can actually give a set of instructions to your superconscious and to your brain to neutralize a negative memory or a belief or an emotion that is not serving you anymore. And then we can reteach it again to use positive, if you want, informations from your surrounding or from your life, and then to reinforce that, basically replacing one memory with another one. And it's all your brain's ability. So we're not doing anything to you, we're actually guiding you for you to do that by yourself. And I think that's super powerful. At least it was for me. It was really empowering me. This is me. This is me deciding what I want to do. And that was really liberating as well for me.
So it's fascinating. It's a fascinating method that has been under development for 15, 20 years. First under Dr. Gary Flint, an experimental psychologist from Canada, then refined by Colette Stryker and her son, Val, systemized and made teachable. So it's been a long, and renamed, right? Renamed MAP, Make Anything Possible. And so, there's been a long road of development, but I think in the last 3 or 4 years, as it was renamed the MAP method, there was kind of a leap in its usage, certainly in terms of the number of practitioners, but also in the number, in the applications for the method. And you were the pioneer in seeing the application of the MAP method for chronic health issues. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, and how that could work, that we could work with the mind and see a change in physical health?
Well, before we continue, just want to make sure that whoever is listening to this, they know that I'm not a doctor. I'm not, certified any medical treatment. MAP method itself is not a medical treatment, but what I have learned on my personal experience, remember when I joined MAP 4 years ago, I was disabled, but I actually joined the program that was about money issues and money blocks. And it was interesting because we were healing everything. And when I say healing, I mean, we were neutralizing those memories and beliefs, starting from childhood, everything that came from parents and grandparents, and then society, because I'm living on Balkans, and we have that cultural identity, even religious one, because a lot of people here in Balkans are Catholics. So we were working on all of that. And then it's really interesting because we were working on money aspect and abundance, and I could recognize that my body was feeling stronger, more energized, that I was not in the pain. I could do more stuff, because 4 or 5 years ago when that happened, I literally couldn't cook for myself. I couldn't stand on my feet for 5 minutes because I was in pain. Like every bone and every muscle in my body was hurting. I couldn't do anything. And I was really dependent on, then it was my fiance, now husband. He needed to do everything. And, you're in your 20s and you want to do everything with your life. You want to enjoy, you want to have fun, and you cannot. So like I said, we started with the money program, and I noticed that my body was getting stronger and better and healthier. But back then we were not allowed to talk. Not allowed. We were not called to talk about MAP as a healing method in terms of healing the body. So when I joined the certification program, I would have a session with someone. We would work on money issues, for example, and then a person would report like, you know what? I just have to tell you, for the last 50 years, I had issues with my breathing and my lungs were not so strong. And then after the session that we did about the abundance and money and work and business that she wanted to create, now she can breathe. And I was like, okay, that's super interesting. And then I had another session with a lady, and we spent 90 minutes just treating her parts. Nothing else, like the whole session, just talking with those parts of her and just making sure that whatever she's doing, she's safe, she's connected, they are in charge and not separated. Those parts are part of her and she's part of those parts. She reported that she was finally able to add more food. I know you work with people who were on a really limited diet, like 10 or 15 different type of foods, I cannot imagine having that experience. And then she reported that she could eat more. And I was still a little bit, careful because, like I said, I was not certified in anything before MAP. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not any kind of healer, so I need to be really careful with that. And then back in 2019, my friend, just about June, she asked me, do you think that MAP could help me with my autoimmune disease? And I said, I really don't know, because they're teaching us not to promise that to people. They wanted to be careful. And I said, well, you know what? Let's do a research and let's see what can happen. So I collected 8 people from the institute. They were actually students, either certified or enrolled in a certification program. And we were supposed to do a group session on acceptance. And I love how the universe works. I couldn't do it. I was actually stopped and I couldn't do it. So I said, you know what? I promised you a group session and I don't have time, but I can record you a session. And then, as you know, we as practitioners, we always love to listen and hear what the other practitioner is using, what kind of little, paths and words and stuff. So I was thinking, you know what? If I give them the recording where I'm sharing different stuff than what we teach in the protocol, they're going to be in their minds and they're going to try to recognize what I'm saying and possibly use it, write it down, and so on. So I said, you know what? Let's do the subliminal recording, meaning that I would lower my voice and I would put a music behind that so they cannot hear my voice, but their subconscious would pick it up. And I gave them that. And I completely forgot about it because at that time my mom ended up in a hospital. So I was, focused on her until my friend sent me a message. After 30 days of listening to a 30-minute recording, cysts in her hands were completely gone. Like the pain that she had in her body, in the lower belly, was completely gone. She had rashes on her skin every time when she would go outside on sun. That was gone. And we rated all of her experience. You know how we ask people from 0 to 10, 10 being the highest. I asked her to put all of her symptoms, to list them and to give them an average number before she started, and then the average number when she was done after 30 days. And when I saw that her rashes, chronic fatigue, spasms, pain, because she was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, she had issues with her thyroid, she was allergic to histamine, like a whole palette of autoimmunes. All of that was like 70 to 80% gone. And it was stable. And then another person from that little research reported something similar. And then another one and another one. So I ended up having 5 people with fibromyalgia, thyroid, rashes, histamine, different inflammation, Lyme disease, Sjorgen's, like different palettes. Every one of them had at least 60 to 70% of the progress in only 30 days. And the best part of it is that in that subliminal, I was not actually trying to heal the body. I was trying to heal the heart. So everything that was hurting them and everything that they were carrying, that emotional pain, that subliminal was working on. And that got me curious. And I was like, okay, so there must be someone else talking about it. So I come across to Dr. Sarno, Dispenza, Gabriel Mate, and all those people talking about how actually traumas, emotional traumas are connected with the physical body. And then it felt like the whole story made sense finally for me, as me, my personal story, when I saw when I saw myself 5 years ago and what happened to me, so many unresolved childhood traumas, my father gambling, us being poor and struggling. I was born in the middle of Croatian war, and that's a lot of trauma. Everything made sense finally. And then I did another round and then another round. And here we are.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So so for people that are interested in this, the initial experiment. So Jelena talks about this more in our first recording, the podcast we did a little over a year ago. We talk about the results from these initial 8 people. And then you had, I believe you did a second round where you expanded the group more, because if the first 8 people were all MAP knowledgeable, right? They were all from the MAP certification program, I think. And so they had experienced a number of MAP sessions. They knew what MAP was very well. So you expanded it, I believe. The second group included people that were new to the MAP method, and you saw similar results. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking exactly like you did. 8 of them were already enrolled in the certification program and they were certified. And like you said, they already received and exchanged tons of MAP sessions. And my logical mind was telling me, well, it was easy for them because they already, had their mind primed and they already received and released tons of stuff. And I was like, okay, so let's do another round. And I want to mix them up. I want to have people who just started with MAP, like had just a couple of sessions, or people who never heard about MAP, never had a MAP session. And all of them were listening to the same recording. And I think I had about 40 something of them. I'm not really sure about the number. And then at the end, 28 of them did the whole round from day 1 to 30. So that was the research. Listen to the recording at least once per day for the next 30 days. And people who never received a MAP session, or they only received 1 or 2 MAP sessions, they also had amazing results. There's Hannah on the Institute's YouTube channel. She was diagnosed with a small fiber neuropathy. And until I met her, I never know, I didn't know what kind of a disease that was. And she said it was really rare. And her fingers and feet, like her cells and nerves were dying. And she ended up being in a wheelchair. She couldn't walk, she couldn't do anything. And she lives in Chicago as well. And you know how winters are in Chicago, super cold. She couldn't wear socks because it was too painful for her. So she was, spending her winters in flip-flops because it was too painful for her. And back then I was just starting with my research, and actually her friend was one of the people in my first research, those 8 people. And I said, you know what? To be honest, I never heard about your disease. I need to Google it because I don't know what it is. And I didn't want to promise anything because I don't know. I was still doubting myself and the method because it sounds too good to be true. And I did my research and then I talked with her. And when she shared with me what kind of a life she had, having a father and a brother who died from the same condition, having an abusive marriage, and all that palette of different traumas in her life. And now finally, when she was happy and relaxed and ready to have a completely different life, the disease kicked in. So in less than 3 months, she ended up in wheelchairs, and it was not good. She was taking 30 different medications per day. And she was honest, and she said, you know what, if this doesn't help me, I'm ready to go because I don't want to live like this. So no pressure at all. I created a recording for her, and I said, you know what, whatever happens, happens, because I really don't know. And I did it in October 2019. And again, I completely forgot about it because we work with tons of people, students, and members of the coaching program. So she was somewhere in the back of my mind. Until a couple of days before Christmas, she sent me an email and a picture of her. After that, more than 45 days of listening to the subliminal that I created. And she was also doing some of the group sessions with her friend because she's certified MAP practitioner as well. After not only 45 days, she was out of the wheelchairs. She was taking only one medication per day. And she sent me a picture of herself being in that whole skiing gear, shoes and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I was crying like a baby. And I said, this is it. This is it. Like, imagine, just put it in your mind for having 30 pills per day and being in wheelchairs, and then your husband has to help you feed you and put your shoes on, or you cannot even put your shoes on because of the pain, and doctors are telling you that's it. Your father and your brother had it, and you know what is the end result. And then not even 2 months later, you are out of your wheelchairs and you can ski, and she's doing her walks every day. She's enjoying her life in fullest. There are no words to explain that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. There are no words to explain that. So tell me where you took the program since then.
Yeah, so until then I was just doing the customized subliminals, meaning that we would meet, you would tell me what is it that you would like to work on, what is your issue, and then if I would not know anything about it, I would need to Google it and do my research about the condition because I wanted to know what it is. And then you would fill out a Google form with all the details about your life, possibly your timeline, what was happening to you even before you were conceived, like with your parents and grandparents, because, if you resonate with that, and I really do, Dr. Gabriel Mate talks a lot about it, that generation trauma and how it can sit in our bodies as well. When I do my homework about the disease, and when you fill out that form, I would create a customized subliminal for you. And then after that, I started to think about, well, I cannot do subliminals for the people. There's so many people out there suffering. And at one point in the months, I had about 50 of them to do. So that it requires a lot of time and attention to do that. So I started to think about a program. And I'm really blessed to have Colette, as part of my family. She was like, let's do it. Let's do the program. You can do that. Like, put on a piece of paper what was helping you and what helped those people and how you can systemize that. So I did. I created a program that it's called When the Body Says Yes, because I think it's really time for us to say yes to our bodies and to start taking care of ourselves. And the body program is a combination of subliminals. So there are three major subliminals for every month. It's actually designed to be a 90-day program. So three major subliminals for every month. And then in between, there are different conscious sessions where you can hear my voice on different topics, like, working with your childhood, your parents, teenage years, everything around acceptance, everything around taking the responsibility, like anything that a person would need to work on in order to release any trauma. And it was released last year in November. And until now, so it's been a little bit more than a year. Until now, with that program and customized subliminals, I think I had about 200 people, and results are amazing. And what I really love the best is that even the program is a 3 months commitment, you have it for life, meaning that after you do and after you complete those 3 months, if you feel like you need to repeat something and you need to work on something and you need a little bit extra help, you can do that as well. For example, the first month is all about acceptance of who you are and your condition. And I strongly believe that we cannot go further in our life if we don't accept our condition. Even that meaning that that's it, it's not going to get better. This is where you are, you're stuck. When you accept that, there's no more resistance and you can move forward. And when you pass that, the second month is all about clearing your whole timeline, like from the conception until now, even before, like I said, if you believe in generation traumas, or even if you believe in past lives. And then the third month is all about balancing your old identity, where you see yourself being sick, having a condition, having some limitations, even excuses, healing that part of the identity, and then balancing that with this new identity. Who do you want to become? I think that was the hardest part for me and my clients, because when you have a condition for a while, that's who you are. That's part of your identity. And then you know how it feels when you're in pain. You know what to do. You know when to relax, what kind of supplements to do, what kind of therapy. It becomes your whole identity of who you are, your story. And it's super scary to let go of that. You have people with their conditions for the last 5, 10, 20, even 30 years, and imagine how much of identity that is, and you need to let go of that. So there's like a lot of work on that, accepting who you are, and then balancing that really gently. Who do you want to be? Because I really want to empower those people. You're not your disease. You can be free from it only if you decide to do that.
Yeah. So you just described month 1, 2, and 3. These are the subliminal recordings, correct?
Yes, those are the subliminal recordings, but in every month they get recorded map sessions, like 1 hour long sessions that they can listen. They also have mini map recordings on different topics that they can use as well. They have a couple of different really short subliminals. They're working with parts like support sessions. I think the whole program has more than 50 recorded map sessions, like really deep work that a person can do. And like I said, it is a 3 months commitment, but the best part of it is once you invest in it, it's yours for life. And then you can use it wherever you want.
So tell me again what the format is. What kind of duration? I mean, is the daily listening? How does one have to do that? Like, can you turn it on and go for a walk, or is it something you need to, focus on?
Yes, I think that's the best part of the program, that those three major subliminals for each month, they don't require any of your attention if you don't want to give them a lot of attention. So the best part of it is that you can play it every day. Those recordings are about 30 minutes, but it's actually a 4 to 5 hour compressed map session, because our superconscious is so much faster, and it can process those information. So you can play it, you can cook, you can do your dishes, you can go for a walk, you can do whatever you want. I had a guy with MS, and he would plug his headphones and he would go for running, and it was really helping him doing that. The only limit is not to drive while listening to subliminals, because sometimes people tend to be super relaxed and fall asleep. So we don't want to do that. But outside of that, there are really no limits for you to listen. And I think that's the best part of it. It doesn't require any of you sitting and doing that. You can sleep, you can eat, you can work out, you can do whatever you want and just play it in the background. There are a couple of different sounds that a person can choose, so the content in it is the same. But if you prefer beach sound, you can listen to the beach sound. If you prefer the beats, you can listen to the beats. If you prefer meditation sound, you can use that one. And then in between all those sessions that I mentioned before, where you can hear my voice, those sessions would be really beneficial, where you feel like you need to do something around your parents. And then you would sit down, you would put your headphones, and you would do a 1 hour map session. And if those sessions are too long for you, then you can do those mini map recording sessions. They're about 15 to 20 minutes. I think that every one of us should make some time, for ourselves, and spend like 20 to 1 hour per day just for us. So there are different levels and different commitments that basically you are the one deciding how you want to use your program.
So just can you tell me again, are there different options for the program, or is what you're describing what the format of the program as it exists today?
That's the program. And once you're in, you can just decide how you want to use it.
Okay. So these are not customized subliminal. So as soon as you signed up, you have access to the program. You don't have to wait for someone to make you a
Yes.
recording. Okay.
Yes. So everything in the body program is already pre-recorded. So once you sign up for it, you have immediate access. You don't have to wait for anything. But like I said, if you want to get yourself a customized version, then yes, you would need to wait a little bit.
Okay. All right. So can you talk a little bit about, you said you have 200 people go through the program in the last year. Can you tell us about their results? What have you heard?
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to talk about all those stories because there's so many amazing stories, and just putting someone on the pedestal, it doesn't feel fair. So if anyone has time, you can just go to the Map Coaching Institute's YouTube channel, where I think we had for now about 15 stories where people on a video talking about their progress. There's also a free and open Facebook group, When the Body Says Yes, where you can just jump in. We're not selling anything. We're not asking for your credit card or for you to subscribe. It's really for me to share their success and really encourage people. They don't have to sign up for MAP or my program. They can just see that it is possible, and for them, to continue to search. And like I said, I really don't know what result I would put. Like Hannah in her wheelchairs, Debbie with so many health issues and challenges and now living her best life. Carrie with her fibromyalgia, not being able to run, to do anything. Now she's running. She has herself a new puppy that is super active and energized, and they're going to the walks again. She's finally exercising again. And you know what? I think the best part of it is it's not only the body that is healing. It feels like your whole heart, like your traumas are lifted as well. Like my last person that joined the body program initially for Crohn's and arthritis, she joined, and I didn't know that she was diagnosed as bipolar, and she had CPTSD as well. And for the last 30 years, she spent a lot of time with different therapists, psychotherapists. She had like a huge box full of different medication. And being in program for 3 months, she's not taking any of that anymore. And she was severely traumatized as a child. When she was 17 years old, her therapist sexually abused her. And when she was so young, like her parents said, we don't know what to do anymore with you. And the system told her, you're never going to be a functional member of the society because you're not capable to do that. She's beautiful. She's healthy. She's working. She's living her life. She's doing everything by herself. She's completely functional, if you want, completely functional member of the society, and she's healed. Like, she's completely different. So it feels that, MAP is not only about, first we started with phobias and negative emotions and beliefs, and then it seems like it went deeper. We noticed that when you address those emotions and traumas, when you resolve them, it felt like your body, physical body, was releasing that stress. And when you're not under that stress anymore, your body naturally started to heal. And then it feels now that we are going even deeper, that traumas can be resolved. Like official diagnosis from therapists can also be, I would not say reversed, but it can quiet them down for sure.
So if you could summarize, 200 people is a pretty good number. What do you think? What is your sense of what percentage of them had positive results from the program? Is that something you still monitor?
Yes, we are actually working now with the Institute's page. We're going to put the science and case studies that we did because the body program, the research was not the only one that we did. We did the one about anxiety, cancer, and I think in February now we are starting with addiction and with children as well, which is super exciting if you ask me. So I started to create numbers, and I started to put, their numbers in the system, the average number before they started, and 30 days after they started, 80% of them after 30 days recognized noticeable shift. I think that's amazing. And then not sure about what's happening after 3 months because some of them decided I need a little bit more support and I'm going to do it again. I want to go even deeper and deeper. But I'm confident to say that from those 200 people, at least 85%, I'm pretty sure 85% of them had a really, really noticeable shift. And I think it's even more. I'm really careful with numbers because I don't want to promise anything because it really depends on the person. But I would say even more than 85%. Yes. So far, as far as I know, I only had two people who said it was not working for them. And then when we talked and when we did a session, we actually recognized what was the issue, and then the program started to work.
Okay, so sometimes there are blocks that need to be
Yes.
cleared first. Okay, so you would say 85% or more of participants in the program notice a noticeable improvement after 90 days.
Even 30 days for some of them. Yes.
Yeah. So the only required thing is that you listen to the 30-minute subliminal each day, right? So all the other stuff that you offer, all the other video recordings and mini maps, audio recordings, and that's extra, that's optional. So some people are using that heavily and some people are not using that as much, right? But the basic commitment is 30 minutes a day for 90 days. So 30 days of recording 1, 30 days of recording 2, 30 days of recording 3, like that.
Yes.
So pretty amazing. I mean, to think about, using something as simple as an audio recording. It's not invasive. You don't have to go anywhere. It's not like it has to be done at a certain time of the day. I mean, would you say that there are side effects?
I think that like with any modality that you use, you can have some I would say negative experiences. But if you have the coach who knows their work, and they can definitely help you out. So what can happen while being in the program, it can happen that your parts are triggered. And when we talk about parts, you know that we most of them we created from conception until year 6 or 7. So what can happen is that a part of you that was created when you were traumatized is trying to protect you. So let's say you had a big trauma in your life, and then your personality, your main personality, created different parts who are triggered every time when you're in a similar situation, they're playing the same story. So what can happen during the process? It rarely happens because those recordings are really made with some safety nets to help a person. But if it happens, you want to teach your clients how to do.
Yeah. So thanks for mentioning that. So sometimes it can happen that during the process, suddenly something comes up for you. You're feeling maybe negative emotion, negative mood comes over you, or some symptom kind of intensifies, right? But this is part of the process, right? You have heard that this can happen, but also be resolved by staying with the process. In other cases,
Yes.
maybe they reach out for some help or they use some of those additional resources that you've offered, right? Like the video map sessions or the mini audio sessions. And so, those are other ways that you can help yourself. But as a last resort, having a session with a one-on-one practitioner is very helpful because the practitioner can pick up on what is happening, right? I wonder if you can talk about what kind of investment in terms of financial investment is for someone who is hearing something interesting about this program, they're interested in engaging with it, and they're wondering what is the financial commitment, or how do they go about registering?
If a person is interested in when the body says yes, we usually meet. They usually share with me what's happening, and then based on their stories and how they think and how they process stuff, I give them a suggestion either to have a customized subliminal or the program. Even though the two of those are working in a similar way, there's a difference. Because, for example, for me, it would work better if I have a customized subliminal. Just play that during the day and that's it. I don't have to consciously think about logging into the program, following some kind of a structure and doing different, assessments and tasks and homework. But for some people, they really love that. They really love the structure. They really love going, week by week, month by month, and seeing that progress. It really depends on a person. It's really beautiful that, um, in the last couple of months, I'm getting more people who never had a map session. So they heard either your podcast or they saw something at the Institute's page. So they usually join my free group session. It's free of charge. You can just jump in, see my energy, how I work. You can see how the process works for you. Because even though I love MAP, I'm in love with this work and results and everything. Sometimes it's not for everyone. Everyone, I guess, find what they want to, with what they want to work with. So they usually join my free group session before they decide. And then we either do a customized subliminal for them if they decide to do that, or the body program. Some of them decide to combine that. They want to do the body program and the customized subliminal, and they want to include some of the one-on-one sessions. It really depends on the person, of course, and what you can afford and how much time you can commit. There's also a solution. If you join that free Facebook group that I mentioned before, you can just sign up for the 7 days free trial of the body program. It's not requiring credit card. You don't have to subscribe on the emails. No one will send you anything. If after you're done, you just have to decide the last day, do you want to join us or not, and that's it. There are a couple of different versions of the body program. So, for example, like I said, the customized subliminal, it's $500. And once it is created for you, it's yours for life. You can use it whenever you want to. You can download it on your computer, iPad, and you don't have to be online for that. The other version is just joining to the body program. 3 months, you have everything that I mentioned before. And I believe that offer now is about $897 US, about $900. There's another option where it's like a bigger package, a premium one. It's about $1,200, a little bit less than that, but it gives you access to the body program. It gives you access to the mini program that actually came out of the when the body says yes, the body positivity. It's a mini program, again, combined with subliminals and conscious sessions about how a person see itself, like their image, body expression, and healing everything around body trauma. I think it's really powerful and amazing. And with that, we are actually starting next week, and I'll be doing that every 3 months. With that premium package gives you 12 live group map sessions on different topics, starting from acceptance, how the condition, affected your relationships, your work, childhood, your parents, teenage years, and all of that. So again, it's like the deeper level, if you want, of the body program with all those themes. Like I said, you can join the 7 day free preview if you want. No obligations at all. All of those solutions and options have available payment plan if you need one. And like I said, if you join, you're not going to regret it. I can promise you that.
And so how or where should people go? So you've mentioned the Facebook group, When the Body Says Yes. And then for someone who's interested in going to the website, where should they go?
They can go to the official institute's page, so www.mapcoachinginstitute.com, and then under the tab Solution, you will see autoimmune and chronic condition with all those amazing stories from people, video format, their Facebook posts, private messages, and you'll see all the available options over there as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me to talk about these wonderful results from your program. I am so happy that we can share more of these wonderful stories about how working with the mind, can affect us on so many levels, not just the emotional level, right, which is where MAP started, but also the mental and behavioral level, and finally the physiological level. Right? These are all connected. And by working with the mind, we can see such incredible improvements in people's lives at all of those levels. And I think that this program is such a convenient way for people. I mean, just imagine, even if you're bedridden, right? You can still put in your headphones and listen for 30 minutes in a day, right? And so no matter where you are in your health journey, this is accessible, right? This is hope. This is a path to progress, to back to health. And if it takes you 90 days, or if it takes you 180 days or more, I think once you start to see the changes happen for yourself, it is so encouraging that I think it's very motivating for people to continue on the journey and get to where they want to be, to achieve their health goals. So I'm so happy to know that this program is out there, to spread the word about this program. You've created so many good ways for people to have a taste of the MAP method, with your free group session and the free trial. I do hope that people will avail themselves of this option, or at least get themselves over to the MAP Coaching Institute to learn more about the method so that they can feel comfortable, right, with what is being offered here. Any last words of wisdom for us, Jelena?
You know what? We're living in a really challenging times, and it feels like everything is go, 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 do, and we forget about ourselves. And I know, because I'm talking from my personal experience, even now after all the work I've done for myself, I still need to remind myself, stop and read and take 10 minutes of the day at least for yourself, and do something for you. And I know that joining the program is a huge commitment, not only commitment of time, it is also commitment of money as well. But there are so many amazing practitioners as you are. We're offering so many free access to people. And the reason why I created that Facebook group is really not to sell or anything. It's really to share those stories, because when I was in bed, when I was in pain, when I didn't want to exist, I was actually feeding myself with other people's stories. And then my mind was going, if she was healed, I can do that as well. And then if he, did it, I can do that as well. So the whole goal for me is just to give you hope. If not with MAP, with another practitioner, with another method, do not give up. Wherever you are, do not give up. Do your best. I don't know. Join the 7-day free trial. Even though it's a 7-day free trial, it can do so much for you, because you have tons of MAP sessions in it that you can use. You can sign up for the Institute's coaching program. They can sign up with you. There's so many different things that you can do for yourself. And yeah, just do not give up and do something for yourself.
Yes, I agree. The wonderful thing about the MAP method is that there's so many ways it can be used, right? You can have one-on-one sessions with a practitioner if that's what you want. You can join a program like this where there's audio files, there are video files. You can join the MAP coachings too. There are group sessions, right? So there's every level of engagement depending on what it is that feels comfortable for you, right for you. And so I just really encourage people to explore all of that, to really look at that whole landscape and find that level that feels right to them. And we are all here, the MAP Coaching Institute, all the practitioners, we are all here to support you and also to point you to other resources, right? If this method is not the right method for you, there are other ways of working with the mind. So just don't give up. As you said, keep looking, find the method, find the path that resonates with you, and engage with that, because I really do think that working with the mind is that final frontier.
Yes.
It is not, as you said before, it's not medicine, right? We are not diagnosing or treating any disease. We are empowering you, each person, right, to reclaim their health, because health is the natural state of being. When you are not in good health, right, there's something separating you, there's some block, there's some barrier that's preventing you from accessing that innate ability to heal ourselves. And once those blocks and those barriers are released, then healing arrives, right? That's
Yes.
yeah.
And we deserve more than just existing on this planet. We definitely deserve more. And like I said, we're living in a challenging times. The whole planet is suffering on different levels. But what I'm super excited of, like you said, there's so many methods and modalities and practitioners and resources, free resources, where you don't have to spend a penny on your healing, only if you decide to. So the first step that every person asks me what to do, figure it out. Do you want to heal or not? Because this is your decision. We can use the program. I can create as a subliminal. I can give you different tools, different books to read. I can, point you to different modalities and practitioners. Nothing will help if you do not decide for yourself, I'm done with this stuff. And I want to heal and I want to, reclaim my power and get my life back.
Yes, so well said. Thank you for joining me today, Jelena. Really appreciate everything that you shared, all the wisdom that you bring to this, and all the work that you put into creating this very powerful program. I hope people will be inspired to learn more, to seek it out, and to try it.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me here today. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for the Flourish with Neural Retraining podcast. Please listen again and remember to follow us and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or Stitcher. To learn more about health applications of the MAP method of advanced neural retraining, visit our website, mindremapforhealth.com. To learn more about the body program, visit mapcoachinginstitute.com and find Jelena's profile under the Certified Practitioners tab. Until the next time, be well and flourish. Content of this podcast copyright 2022 by Twin Cities Neural Retraining. Music by Barbara Ben.